YaHUsHa, love in its fullness and no problems. To anyone watching the video right now, I appreciate you very much. I want to talk about why is Easter so important. And I will be starting at Hebrews chapter 9, verse 15. And for this cause, he is the mediator of the new covenant, that by means of death for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first covenant, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. Now I want to pick out where it says he is the mediator of the new covenant. YaHUsHa, the Son, is the mediator of the new covenant. He's in the middle. You cannot come into the new covenant, unless you go through the Son, YaHUsHa. Okay? Now let's see what this new covenant consists of. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 7 through 10. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should be no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he said, Behold, the days come, said YaHUaH, when I will make a new covenant with the house of YaHUsHa, with the house of Israel, and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith YaHUaH. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of YaHUsHa, with the house of Israel, after those days, says YaHUaH. I will put my laws in their mind, and I will write them on their hearts. And I will be to them a Elohim, a power, and they shall be to me a people. Now, it says nowhere in there that he was going to disannul or destroy his law, or discredit it, or make it lesser, or do anything to it. So the renewed covenant, who the Son is the mediator of, consists of our Father's laws being put on our minds and written on our hearts. So you cannot be a part of something that you do not believe in, or that you believe is done away with. It don't work that way. You don't even believe in it. Because we know that belief, or what people call faith, is twofold. In order to have it, you must believe it and do it. You can't just say you believe and sit there. You must get up and do it. It's like going to work. I believe I can go to work. But if you don't go to work, you ain't going to get no check. Same thing. All right. Now, moving on. Now, let's, according to the subject matter at hand, appertaining to the subject matter at hand, let's look at Leviticus 23, verse 4 and 5. These are the feasts of YaHUaH, even Kadash, Makrim, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at evening is YaHUaH's Passover. So if we're in YaHUsHa, in the Son, if we have went through him in order to be in this new covenant, it should not be a hard thing for us to keep this law. It should not be despised of us to keep this Passover. We should not be doing something else. If we're in this new covenant that we must go through the Son to get into. Okay, so Matthew chapter 26, verse 18. Now, the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to YaHUsHa, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And he said, Go into the city, to such a man and say unto him, the master says, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples. And the disciples did as YaHUsHa had appointed them, and they made ready the Passah. So we see the Son, YaHUsHa, being obedient unto the Father's commandment. For he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. For this is the love of the Father, that we keep his commandments. So talk is cheap. All right. So now let's look at Acts chapter 12 and verse 4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to the 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter, to bring him forth to the people. Now, if they have it that this was written in Greek, if you have an application to your website, will allow you to put this on the Greek Strongs and transfer it back over to the Greek writing. Do that and click on that word and look at that word where they had Easter. You will see the Greek word, I think it's Pascha, and the definition of that word is Easter. So when they translated it from what they say was written in Greek, they say it was written in Greek. When they translated from that, the tongue that it was written in, they chose to put Easter here. But the definition of that word was Passover. See, so they deliberately and intentionally put Easter here. It was not supposed to be here at all. They just stuck that in there. Okay? Deception. That's Acts chapter 12, verse 4. And you can do that and you can see that for yourself. Moving on. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 8. Your esteeming is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even YaHUsHa, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Therefore let us keep the feast. The feast that we just read about in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 4 and 5. The feast that YaHUsHa said in Matthew 26 and 18, I will keep the Passover at thy house. One of the 7 feasts. Let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. So we see right here all through scripture that everyone's keeping Passah or Passover. And that the word Easter in Acts chapter 12 and 4 was intentionally stuck in there. And if you take it back to the Greek with the Greek Strongs, how the word that they use means Passover. And they intentionally stuck that in there. So all through the scripture, even the master, YaHUsHa, kept Passover according to the commandment. Because it's not my will that I'm talking about. It's like the master said, not my will, but your will. We say he gave us the prayer. On earth let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So that's the question. Are we being religious or are we doing his will? So I'm not speaking my own words. I'm definitely not trying to convince anybody to believe like me. I'm sharing the truth in prayer that somebody will see the truth and follow our King and receive eternal life and turn away from deception in all your ways. So why is Easter so important? Why is it so important? And why do people keep it? Well, One reason is your children. Some people love their children more than they love YaHUsHa.
What I want to talk about is the 7-day rest, the Sabbath. Today, this is Jubilees chapter 2, verse 19, and it reads, "And all the angels, all the messengers of the presence, and all the angels of sanctification, these two great classes, he has bidden us to guard the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth." So they're keeping the Shabbat, the Sabbath, in heaven. So we may be able to say this done away with down here, but it's not done away with up there. Scripture also says, "For in 6 days he created the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that in them is and rested the 7th day." For us to adapt the belief and the doing of every day is my Shabbat, or he done away with that. YaHUsHa was without crying. He was extremely obedient. He ain't done away with that. It's still going on in Shemayim, in the heavens. I just read it. Barak YaHUaH, thank you for tuning in.
Shalama al-Ata. Are your shoes clean? Well, let's find out. And yes, this book is going to tell me. This is Exodus chapter 23, verse 1. And it reads, "You shall not raise a false report. Put not your hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. You shall not follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shall you speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. Neither shall you countenance a poor man in his cause. If you meet your enemy's ox, or his donkey going astray, you shall surely bring it back to him again. If you see the donkey of him that hates you, lying under his burden and would forbear to help him, you shall surely help with him." This is what they call the Old Testament. YaHUaH doesn't sound that bad to me. Seems like he's a very merciful power. "You shall not wrest the judgment of your poor in his cause, and fair and even. Keep far from a false matter, so you won't be in no mess. And the innocent and righteous slay you not, for I will not justify the wicked. And you shall take no gift, for the gift blinds the wise and perverts the words of the righteous. Also, you shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the heart of a stranger, seeing you were strangers in the land of Mazarine, bondage, Egypt. In 6 years you shall sow your land, and shall gather in the fruits thereof. But the 7th year you shall let it rest, and lie still, that the poor of your people may eat. And what they leave, the beast of the field shall eat. In like manner you should deal with your vineyard and your olive yard. 6 days you shall do your work." That's goodness right there. Because these jobs will have you on 7 days mandatory. But the power say, man, go rest on the 7th day. But people say, that's done away with. But let me get to the point. 6 days you shall do your work, and on the 7th day you shall rest. Eat and drink. Go to sleep. That your ox and your donkey may rest, and the son of your handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. And in all things I have said unto you, be guarded, and make no mention of the name of other gods, of other Elohim, of other powers, neither let it be heard out of your mouth. Now, how much more if you put the name on clothing so people can wear it? You're going to see it when you see it on shoes, on Air Maxes, on Forces, on all these different colorful looking shoes, nice looking shoes. But are they clean? No, because Nike is the name of a goddess, the demon of flight. So they are unclean, they dungy, they are an abomination before the true power of YaHUsHa, what they call Israel. YaHUaH, YaHUsHa. Don't bring the unclean thing, the accursed thing into your home, let alone put them on your feet, or on your woman, or on your child. So are your shoes clean? No. This Shabbat, our title is, no offense to anybody here today or anybody watching. This Shabbat, or this Shabbat, our title is, You Are Smarter Than YaHUaH. That's God in your King James Bible. I say this because you are sticking to your guns. Nothing at all can persuade you. Not your own experience, conscience, well past your youth, and 20s and 30s of age. Even after reading or hearing about YaHUaH coming with words of indignation and anger, like unto his appearance on Mount Sinai because of his goodness to keep us from transgressing against him, so that the punishment does not rest upon us. Exodus chapter 20, verse 20. And Moshe said unto the people, Fear not, for YaHUaH is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that you transgress not. Now some may say, just because I don't believe the way you do, it doesn't mean I think I'm smarter than him. If YaHUaH has ordered one way into his kingdom, but you attest to believing different from his directions, and still have the right to his paradise, then you surely know something he doesn't. For instance, YaHUaH says one day is Sabbath, as well as one new moon, and others are working days. But you say every day is Sabbath day. And you're not seeming to be more sure on this matter than he is. Let's look into the future by the word, spirit, YaHUsHa, of prophecy. For YaHUaH is prophecy, to see if his word will change in the kingdom to fit your belief or logic. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 22 through 24. As for the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, says YaHUaH. So shall your seed and your name remain, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, says YaHUaH. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me. For their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorrence unto all flesh. Notice after mentioning his renewals and Sabbaths, he followed up with death, because he is warning us all that if we continue to transgress against him and make our own days holy and not his, this is your end. And on his holy day, and not on yours, you'll see others keeping his holy days, which you should have observed, in a forever decaying state of dying. Not by just one man does he relay a warning message either, for here's another one. 2 Esdras, chapter 7, verses 36 through 42. The lake of torment will appear. Across from it will be the place of rest. The pit's furnace will be displayed, and across from it the delightful paradise. Then the Most High will speak to the nations that have been raised. Look and understand whom it is you have denied, whom you haven't served, and whose ordinances you have despised. Look to one side and the other. Here is delight and rest, and over there are fire and torments. He will say these things to them on the judgment day, a day that has no sun, or moon, or stars, no cloud, or thunder, or lightning, no wind, or water, or air, no darkness, or evening, or morning, no summer, or spring, or heat, no winter, or frost, or cold, no hail, or rain, or dew, no noon, or night, or early dawn, no shining, or brightness of light, but only the splendor of the light of the Most High. All will then begin to see what things are in store for them. There are many more scriptures that are of the same among those where even YaHUsHa, the Son of our Creator, warns us of a place of tormenting flames for a rich man, and Lazarus at Abraham's bosom, a place of rest. Two different places. So if you don't believe now, you certainly will when your time comes. But yet and still, death of the smart person is said, when you're dead, you're dead. There's nothing else. It's just another chapter. It's natural and nothing to be concerned with. But that's not what we just read of YaHUaH's foreknowledge. And just as a side note, www.indexmundi, that's index, MUNDI.com, shows current deaths in your area. In the United States, even by state. I think we're up to like 160 something today. Worldwide is 10 points, every 10 point something seconds, somebody is dying. So it's a lot of deaths, and we don't know when we're gonna die.
That's true.
It's a serious thing. Also, death of the smart person is said. You know, he or she got their wings.
Yeah. Say that all
The other day, they gone home to glory.
Yeah, they got them.
This is a subtle, ongoing, misleading, common saying that is most harmful and in no way similar to the following scriptures. Matthew 7 and 14. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. If there be few to find it, how come when someone dies, they go home to glory, even when we know they lived unclean?
That's right.
Matthew 22 and 14. For many are called, but few are chosen. Isaiah chapter 35, verse 8. And there will be a highway called the way of Kadash, the way of holiness. The unclean will not travel it. Only those who walk in the way,
Come on now.
and fools will not stray on it. The way of holiness includes a set-apart diet too, believe it or not.
Come on now.
You can't be Kadash or holy eating rat tail soup or dog ribs or pork products, for in the same dietary law, YaHUaH says, be holy, for I am holy. Matthew chapter 24, verses 36 through 41. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Adam be. For as the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, married and given in marriage, until the day Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also be the coming of the Son of Adam be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Two women shall be grinding in the mill, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, said YaHUaH, for I am married unto you. I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. Romans chapter 2, verses 5 through 11. But after thy hardness and impenitent, not feeling shame or regret about one's actions or attitudes, heart treasurest up unto thyself wrath, against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of YaHUaH, who will render to every man according to his deeds, to them who by patient continuance and well-doing seek for esteem and honor and immortality, eternal life. But unto them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation, wrath, tribulation, and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil. Of the YaHUaH died first, of the Jew first, and also of the Gentile. But esteem, honor, shalom, peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile. For there is no respect of persons with YaHUaH. The only people getting their wings are obedient people. If you are still backbiting, gossiping, selling dope, popping pills, being gay, running over your parents, listening to devil music to keep you stalled in a place of foolishness, sexually mind-fogged, disregarding YaHUaH's Sabbaths, watching wicked TV shows, eating unclean, abominable foods like lobster, crab, shrimp, bloody steaks, and barbecue pork of any cut, celebrating holidays that your oppressor love for you to get drunk on. I lost my spot. Sorry. And not do anything constructive. And I quote, the first-hand witness account and born slave, if I may bring this in, Frederick Douglass, from his autobiography, 1 of 3, Narrative of a Life of Frederick Douglass. I'm going to read a little piece of it. for a long time a matter of surprise to me why Mr. Covey did not immediately have me taken by the constable to the whipping post and there regularly whipped for the crime of raising my hand against a white man in defense of myself. And the only explanation I can now think of does not entirely satisfy me, but such as it is, I will give it. Mr. Covey enjoyed the most unbounding reputation for being a first-rate overseer and Negro breaker. I was of considerable importance to him. It was of considerable importance to him. The reputation was at stake. And had he sent me, a boy about 16 years old, to the public whipping post, his reputation would have been lost. So to save his reputation, he suffered me to go unpunished. My term of actual service to Mr. Edward Covey ended on Christmas Day, 1833. The days between Christmas and New Year's Day are allowed as holidays. And accordingly, we were not required to perform any labor more than to feed and take care of the stock. This time we regard it as our own by the favor of our masters, and we therefore used or abused it nearly as we pleased. Those of us who had families at a distance were generally allowed to spend the whole 6 days in their society. This time, however, was spent in various ways. The staid, sober, thinking, and industrious ones of our number would employ themselves in making corn brooms, mats, horse collars, and baskets. And other class of us would spend the time in hunting possums, hares, and coons. But by far, the larger part engaged in such sports as merriments and playing ball, wrestling, running foot races, fiddling, dancing, and drinking whiskey. And this latter mode of spending the time was by far the most agreeable to the feelings of our masters. A slave who would work during the holidays was considered by our masters as scarcely deserving them. He was regarded as one who rejected the favor of his master. It was deemed a disgrace not to get drunk at Christmas. And he was regarded as lazy indeed, who had not provided himself with the necessary means during the year to get whiskey enough to last him through Christmas. From what I know of the effect of these holidays upon the slave, I believe them to be among the most effective means in the hands of the slaveholder in keeping down the spirit of insurrection, or uprising, or organized resistance. Were the slaveholders at once to abandon this practice, I have not the slightest doubt it would lead to an immediate insurrection among the slaves. These holidays serve as conductors or safety valves to carry off the rebellious spirit of enslaved humanity. But for these, the slave would be forced upon the wildest desperation, and woe betide the slaveholder the day he ventures to remove or hinder the operation of those conductors. I warn him that in such an event, a spirit will go forth in the midst more to be dreaded than the most appalling earthquake. The holidays are part and parcel of the gross fraud, wrong, and inhumanity of slavery. They are professedly a custom established by the benevolence of the slaveholders. But I undertake to say, it is the result of selfishness and one of the grossest fraud committed upon the trodden down slave. After hearing this, people will still celebrate Christmas. Our own people. It's ridiculous. It's a first-hand account of a slave. They do not give the slave this time because they would not like to have their work doing its continuous, but because they know it would be unsafe to deprive them of it. Because Negroes like Christmas that much.
Right.
We'll kill for it. This will be seen by the fact that the slaveholders like to have their slaves spend their days just in such a manner to make them as glad of their ending as of their beginning. Their object seems to be to disgust their slaves with freedom by plunging them into the lowest depths of dissipation. For instance, the slave holders not only like to see the slave drink of his own accord, but will adopt various plans to make him drunk. One plan is to make bets on their slaves as who can drink the most whiskey without getting drunk. And in this way, they succeed in getting whole multitudes to drink to excess. Thus, when the slave asks for virtuous freedom, the cunning slaveholder, knowing his ignorance, cheats him with a dose of vicious dissipation, artfully labeled with the name of liberty. The most of us used to drink it down, and the result was what might be supposed. Many of us were led to think that there was little to choose between liberty and slavery. We felt, and very properly too, that we had almost as well be slaves to man as to Rome. So when the holidays ended, we staggered up from the filth of our wallowing, took a long breath, and marched to the field, feeling upon the whole rather glad to go from what our masters had deceived us into belief was freedom, back to the arms of slavery. And as was said previously, celebrating holidays that your oppressor love for you to get drunk on and not do anything constructive. People doing these things are not getting their wings or going home to glory. And as it is important that we stop fooling ourselves by passing those bewitching sayings on to one another, resulting in consequences ongoing. From the perspective of the person smarter than YaHUaH, you have one life to live. Live while you can. Do what you want to do. Without question, there's nothing wrong with enjoying your life, having fun all the time. But YaHUsHa says in Matthew chapter 16, verse 24 through 26, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul? Or what?
All right, let's look at this right here. This THOR guy. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 25. The graven images of their powers shall you burn with fire. The graven images. What is THOR? He a graven image. He a old graven image. This is nothing new. And they know this. They know this. This is spiritual. The physical that you are being presented with is spiritual. It's a war. It's a war. So let's go back. He says, thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it unto you, lest you be snared therein. Lest you be snared therein. Now, I'm not proud of this picture. It's not nothing that I really wanted to use, but it's a great illustration. And it's a sad picture. But facing death, the young lion was left trapped in the snare, which got tighter and tighter as he grew for a total of 3 years after numerous attempts to rescue him failed. That's awful. But in a sense, that's what's going on with many people who choose to go after their own logic when the spiritual that is being presented to them, or the wicked spiritual gifts that they are accepting, is hindering them and will determine everlasting life or everlasting condemnation, because we are in a war. He said, he who gathers not with me scatters abroad. Whether you want to be in it or not, you are in it. So you might as well not be fooled by what they're giving you. All right? So instead of destroying them, what do? We buy the action figures for our children. We involve our children and bring them up with the abominations that our Creator hates. Look at this. This is an idol. Why are they doing this? Huh? Why are they doing this? Some people choose the other guy. Some people choose the other guy. Rebellion. Rebellion. The next time you are in the game store, take a look around and notice, if you haven't already, all the devils and demons that they are inviting you to come and play with. We'll be looking at this game first. But before we do, let's read Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 10 through 12. Let no one be found among you who sacrifices his son or daughter in the fire. Let's stop right there and understand that when we allow our children to play these demonic games, we are spiritually offering them up to devils. We are giving them their time and, more importantly, their mind. See, this is all spiritual. Even though it's a game in our awakened state, it's still spiritual. They're demons. It's demonic activity. These guys are preaching to you. They are preaching to you from a satanic standpoint that is very witty, that is very cunning. They have made it user-friendly. They have made it entertaining. For the flesh loves it and it goes after it. So, let's continue. Practices divination or conjurer or interprets omens. This is witchcraft. Practices sorcery, casts spells. Once again, this is witchcraft. Consults a medium or a spiritist or inquires of the dead. For whoever does these things is detestable to YaHUaH. So now, let's look at this. We just got some images right here. Look at these. Demons. Demonic activity. Demons. Full of witchcraft and devils. That's all it is. That's all it is. You don't want this type of stuff playing through your tube. Thank you for watching. Let's go with this one. Look at this. And the predator, which ain't nothing but a demon. Anyway, we're focusing on this one. But before we do, let's read Ephesians 5 and 11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Psalms 101, verse 3. I will set no wicked thing before my eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me, says the righteous king. And again, Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13. The fear of YaHUaH is to hate evil. The fear of YaHUaH is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way and the forward mouth do I hate. It says the fear of our Creator is to hate evil, not to play with it, not to turn it into a video game and run to it. Then let's look at Matthew 25, starting at verse 41. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, you cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his messengers. That's a great reason to fear YaHUaH, because he prepared a place that they make games out of, that they animate, and we play with them. He created that. Somebody that superior you should fear, because he can put you there. So now let's look at this. Let's look at one. Look at one of these characters in that game. It says, is a girl and a beast who share a symbolic relationship. Not much is told about them, but they are loyal to the new emperor. Kind of reminds you of Babylon the Great. What's wrong with these images? Some may say nothing. But the problem is the leggings. They are a great trap and a problem to the everyday going man. The Master YaHUsHa told us to pray that we are not delivered into temptation. In Yahuwah's prayer, we pray, deliver us not into temptation. The tempter, which is the devil, tempts. Are you of your father, the devil, when you come out wearing these things? Along with the other influencers, this can be a great hindrance to man. So let's look at Job chapter 31, verse 1. I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a young woman. Matthew chapter 6, verse 22. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye be single, your whole body shall be full of light. But if your eye be evil, your whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in you be darkness, how great is that darkness? Matthew 5 and 28. But I say unto you that whosoever looks on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart. Leviticus chapter 18 and 20. Moreover, you shall not lie carnally with your neighbor's wife to defile yourself. So you're not a player. You making yourself unclean. Ezekiel 23 and 20. For she died upon their paramours, whose flesh is the flesh of donkeys, You may have heard about this, but when I was drinking, I sure didn't. So let me get straight to it. Know you not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of YaHUaH? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revelers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of YaHUaH. That was 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. Let's look at another one. This is Isaiah chapter 5, verse 11. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue unto night, till wine inflame them. That's a warning. And captivity came after that, because YaHUaH's people wasn't sober-minded. This is 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober. Be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walks about, seeking whom he may devour. If you have become a person who drinks too much alcohol, kick up out of this soul catcher. It being overindulgent and hyped up, preached to us by the devil's preachers in professions such as the music industry. You know, turn up, crank, is promoted to us in all the voodoo songs. Don't let overindulging alcohol take away your opportunity on the kingdom to come. Oh, you think it's funny? The woman shall not wear that which pertains unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are an abomination unto YaHUaH your power. That's Deuteronomy chapter 22 and 5. See, whether you know it or not, what you're looking at is spiritual on the rebellion side. The rebellion is spiritual. The rich understand and know this, while the audience indulges in the displayed program, movie, video, or show, thinking it's just entertainment, as we have been wrongfully taught on purpose. They preaching, bruh, for the devil, soul catching. How? By having the common citizen partake in crimes against the great judge and king YaHUaH. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 22. Abstain from all appearance of evil. Revelation 18 and 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her crimes, and that you receive not of her plagues. See, you can't indulge in this stuff. You can't have no delight in this stuff, thinking it's just entertainment and it's okay with man's understanding, and it's not okay. Matthew chapter 4, verse 8 through 11. Again, the devil take him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the esteem of them, and said unto him, All these things will I give you, if you will fall down and worship me. Then said YaHUsHa unto him, Get you hence, Satan, for it is written, You shall worship YaHUaH your power, and him only shall you serve. Do you think this deception is gonna go on forever after all this time we've been given? I think not.
YaHUsHa al-Ata, love and no complications in the full unto you. To the robber, to anyone out there watching the video, I appreciate you very much. I just want to say be encouraged and strengthened in YaHUsHa, and keep pressing towards the mark, for we can do it and we can make it in. For anything is possible in our commander. For YaHUaH must really be something for us to experience all the turbulence, all the resistance that we're going through. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Luke 4:13. And when the devil had ended all the temptation, he departed from him for a season. For the fourth time now, last night, I been tempted in my sleep, in my dreams. If anyone have had a dream while you in it, it's real. So, and maybe that's just the name. It's just a dream. That's what they call it. I'm just saying. For the fourth time, I was tempted to join the enemy side, or sell my soul, as we say. And I didn't do it. The first time, let's go back. The first time, it was about 4 to 6 men with power, much power coming off of them. And they was trying to intimidate me to come on their side. They was like of some type of band, some type of rock band. They was some form of musicians. And the one in the middle, he came forth. He was like fire. His body was like fire, and he began to walk towards me, and I could feel the power coming off of him, and he was greatly trying to scare me up to join them. And it was crazy. So in the second time, maybe a week or two, maybe a week later, maybe two, they put in front of me a sheet of paper with a 1 and many zeros after that, and they wanted me to sign the paper and to join in them. Again, they came to me and tried to get me to join them again for the third time, and just again last night. This is just something different. Something different. They pulling all the tricks out. And I know someone else out there is going through this as well. And I just want to say be encouraged, because I'm not joining the enemy side for nothing. And I know you're not as well. So as long as we stay in YaHUsHa and we keep continuing his word, we will surely be his taught ones, and we will be of him. So I just want to share that with you and say you're not alone. You're not crazy. This is real, and it ain't no game, and we must continue. Barak YaHUaH for counting us worthy to even suffer these things with YaHUsHa. Toda Rabba Abba YaHUaH. Thank you for anyone out there who watched the video. We can do it. Let's continue. Hallelujah.
Ahaba Ushalom. Love and peace to anyone out there watching the video right now. I appreciate your time. I just want to talk about racism real quick. Well, not necessarily racism, but hatred for another nation. Perhaps that is a better way of saying it. Any type of true dislike that can fester inside of me and grow. You understand? Because I know what transgression can do. Whether if it be me allowing depression to set in, and I not get up off that couch and move around and just keep wallowing in my own sorrow. Okay. Or another matter. So let's look at that real quick. This is Deuteronomy chapter 23:7. Barak the Almighty King YaHUaH
for showing us what love really is. This is an example of love. He always giving us instructions. Many people say that they love you, but how many people have laid down chapters after chapters of how to live and how to increase your mind in righteousness? If you do it, how to live, how to be, how to truly be humble, not before men, but before the Creator. For if you humble before the Creator, men gonna come. Of course you're gonna be humble before men, but you gotta do it before the Creator first. So Barak YaHUaH, all esteem to YaHUaH. So it says, you shall not abhor an Edomi, an Adami, for he is your brother. You shall not abhor a Mazari, an Egyptian, because you were a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the assembly of YaHUaH in their third generation. So he just said he your brother concerning one nation. And the other one, you shall not abhor a Mazari because you were a stranger in his land. So he just gave you a direct commandment, a direct zuah. Now, is you going to obey it or not? That's simple and plain. So that's why I'm careful and I do not hate any other nation. All esteem to YaHUaH. Tutor for your time. Ahaba Shalom. A lot of people say that they real. I'm real. You know me, or whatever the case may be. But let's look at one of the features of really being real. This is Deuteronomy chapter 22. And it reads, and 1. You shall not see out your brother's ox or out his sheep go astray, and hide yourself from them. You shall in any case bring them again unto your brother. Wow. Now what if your brother, now it said ox or sheep, but what if your brother's bulldog or his cat or any type animal that you know is his go astray, and you coming out the house taking the garbage out or whatever it may be, and you see your friend's animal, but you hide yourself? You hide yourself. And how many times in relation to that have we hid ourselves from our brothers in the store when we see them? We'll act like we didn't see them, or we won't go acknowledge them. We'll go the opposite way just because they didn't see us. That's not being real. That's not love. You're supposed to go acknowledge your brother. Acknowledge your sister. Ask them how they doing. Don't act like you didn't see them. And if you see one of their possessions going astray, you're supposed to bring it unto yourself. Okay? And let's continue. Verse 2. And if your brother be not nigh unto you, if he be not close to you, or you know him not. So if he's not even close to you, and even if you don't know him, we talking about being real now. This our Creator YaHUaH's mind. See, you got to get his mind in order to be really real. Because if you going the other way and you ain't getting his possessions, you fake. You fake, bro. And if your brother be not nigh unto you, close to you, or if you know him not, then you shall bring it unto your own house. And it shall be with you until your brother seek after it, and you shall restore it to him again. You're supposed to take the possession and take it to your own house. Even if he ain't close to you and you don't know him, you're supposed to take it to your house until he come seeking after it. Not claim it for yourself. Not take it. Because you didn't do it according to righteousness. So you ain't real, you fake. And you unclean as well. And you just transgressed. For some of the people, they ain't gonna buy that. I understand that. But this ain't for everybody. This only for kings anyway. This only for the righteous. Ahaba Shalom. I appreciate your time. Barak YaHUaH.
Nobody is perfect. We have all heard this saying before, and more than likely, we have said it ourselves. But is it really true? Let's go to a higher understanding than that of man's to get to the truth of the matter. Matthew chapter 5, verse 48. Be you therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Genesis chapter 17, verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, YaHUaH appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am YaHUaH. Walk before me and be you perfect. Now, before we continue on, we must understand that perfection in the eyes of men is different from the perfection in the eyes of our Creator, YaHUaH. In order to walk perfect before our Creator, we must keep His commandments. And His commandments are not grievous. Luke chapter 1, verse 5. There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias, of the course of Abiah, and his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before YaHUaH, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of YaHUaH, blameless. Genesis chapter 6, verse 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with YaHUaH. John chapter 8, verse 11. She said, No man, master. And YaHUsHa said unto her, Neither do I condemn you. Go and commit a crime no more. So we see here that he instructed her to commit a crime no more. Therefore, it is possible. If it was not, he would not have told her so. So now, if you believe the scriptures, we see that it's possible for a man or woman to be perfect.